My full name is Tatiana Super, but I go by Tanya. I found them on Facebook. So I saw a picture of people from the Hub Church, and I don't know, something just it was Holy Spirit, I believe. Like something stood out to me from the picture, and I looked it up. It was a few months, actually, it was more than a few months until I wanted to visit because it was during COVID, so I couldn't. But I think I started watching them online. And then in the fall of 2020, when the restrictions were lifted from the lockdowns, I ended up visiting the church. Everybody was wearing masks, so it was a little bit awkward, but I really liked it. I got connected with the women's ministry. I attend their meetings online. I got to know a lot of the women by face. It was still a little bit difficult in person because masks were worn and I wasn't sure who was who, but I got to know the names and eventually I put the names with the faces and so it was good. It was totally Holy Spirit led because I was looking for a church, but not actively, but Holy Spirit knew what I needed. It's been home ever since 2020. Officially, I became a member in February of 2023. I used to be an atheist. Like for a long time, I didn't believe God existed, and I was like kind of hostile. Not like actively hostile, but like in my heart, I was hard toward things of God and just like faith. But eventually, I met some people, and a friend of mine from college. I really liked the way she acted and like her attitude, her demeanor. She invited me to go to Times Square Church, and I went. The very first time I went, I sat through the worship fine. It was all good. But when they started preaching, I could not sit there. I had to get out of the building. I got out and I waited across the street for the service to finish because I just could not sit there. But God was working on me. And eventually I started going to that worship service at Times Square Church on a more or less regular basis. At some point, I was hospitalized for mental health and I was going through a really tough time. And during that time, actually, I realized that I need Jesus, because I knew of him, I knew about him, but I wasn't believing in him actively. So after I got out of the hospital, I went to that service again and I surrendered my life to Jesus. And it's been ongoing ever since. I backslid a little bit like afterwards because it was such a big church and it was difficult to find like a close community. So I backslid, but in 2012, I rededicated myself at the same place again. And ever since then, I've been following God for more or less consistently. My first church in Jersey City was Urban Mission, which was a great church. I grew up there. It was really good for a season. And then now I'm here at the Hub. I know it might be scary. You might think that you'll be uncomfortable, but get out of your comfort zone because there's a lot of good things happening here. And once you come and you meet us, you'll feel like home because that's how we treat our guests, that they're family. And once they come into the building, they're family. I encourage you to come because we're waiting for you.